Hello, my name is Brandon Pena, and on my presentation today I'll be going over the X-ray circuit board, and I'll be explaining while showing you guys a picture of it, what it is each component in the circuit does. So let's have at it.
Things first, the main breaker. Here, this is pretty much a device that gives the entire X-ray circuit its power. Generally sends 110 to 120 voltages to the auto transformer. This is the transformer that contains two coils connecting in a series with an iron core in the middle that works on self-induction. The auto transformer increases slightly the incoming voltage, changing the voltage supply from the main breaker to and from 110 to 120 volts to 220-ish volts. That is the potential difference required to the X-ray circuit to work. Also, in the auto transformer, it contains kilo peak selectors, and these change the kV by 1 or 2 kV, and the major that changes the kV by 10. Next, we have the kV peak selector. This is the element of the X-ray circuit that gives the energy to the electrons in order to flow from the cathode to the anode. The KVP selector determines the penetrability to the body parts and determines the quality as well of the beam, and the overall X-ray image should have sufficient penetrability to reach the image receptor to create a good one. The higher the KVP, the lower the absorbed dose to the patient tissues. The KVP also determines the image radiographic contrast. Our next part of the X-ray circuit, the exposure switch. So pretty much the exposure switch initiates the exposure, and the kind of like a emergency switch. They call it a dead man switch. This is a safe way to avoid overexposure. And with that, we have the timer. This essentially is the portion of the X-ray circuit that is crucial to determine how long the exposure extends and terminates the exposure. It is important to choose the right time of the exposure to avoid overexposing, of course. Next, we have the step-up transformer. This is the transformer that boosts the incoming voltage and is necessary to change voltage into kilovolts. The step-up transformer is built of two coils, a primary and a secondary. Here you'll find two coils, a primary coil which contains less turns than the secondary coil which contains more turns. So this is why you would call it a step-up, because it's going from low to high. And pretty much, if you want to know how it is that it increases the voltage, due to the fact that the secondary coil has more turns and length of the conductor, Ohm's law is applied here, and because the resistance increases, more energy is required to push the electrons from behind, but at the same time the electrical current decreases due to the increase of resistance. So pretty much the step-up transformer works as the principle of mutual induction electrification because the two coils are parallel. Up next we have the recidifier. This is also known as the resistor or silicone controlled recidifier, SCR. And here pretty much it just changes the direction of the current from alternating, which is AC, to DC, direct current. Acts as a grounding as well, which offers excess electricity to be rerouted. So in order, to not cause any fires or damage or harm to anybody nearby, it's kind of like a place where all that would go. Extra current. Up next we have the MA selector, also known as a variable resistor or the rheostat, which basically is a major element of the X-ray component because it provides the current to the filament. Current being the electrons by thermonic emission, or the process also called boiling off or cloud of the electrons. The MA selector normally ranges from 10 to 1,200 MA. After that, we have the step-down transformer, also known as the filament transformer. It is the one that works in mutual induction electrification. So pretty much a step-down transformer contains two coils also, kind of like a step-up, but this time it's going, you guessed it, kind of backwards. The first coil has more turns, and the secondary coil has less, because it decreases. After that, we have, the X-ray tube, which is the final step in the X-ray circuit, and it's in charge of producing the X-ray photon. The X-ray tube is built with two portions, the cathode and the anode. Cathode being a negative and the anode being a positive. And pretty much that sums everything up and how it works and its function, each individual component, and yeah.
All right, thank you so much. That's pretty much my X-ray circuit board explanation, presentation. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and Group 52 forever.